Jay Massey is a full-time real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur.
He also teaches people how to find deals, raise capital for real estate investments.
Meeting Jay Massey in person, you'd think he's just a regular guy. He's got jeans and a t-shirt on and a pair of sneakers. But he's built up a multi-million-dollar empire.
I hope you do have an empty notebook because it's going home filled.
Jay gives back so much value that I've never seen.
Now, at this moment, when I'm looking at the kitchen, things are going through my head.
You want to be friends with him, and he treats you like you're the only person in the room, even though it's for the benefit of everybody.
This is how, when you ask yourself, how does Jay do it? This is how.
He tells people that they have to take action, and they have to take action now. I took the action, and the results have paid off.
What happens when the marketplace understands who we are and how we go out there?
All right, guys, how are you doing today? Hopefully things are going well. And I'm actually excited about today's topic. It's something that I do all the time. And more importantly, I'm hoping you are excited about today's topic as well. So for those of you that are brand new, this is your first time here, etc., do me a favor, go ahead, type in the chat the word new, N-E-W, because I would love to welcome you because yeah, that's just a good thing to do. And most importantly, I want to acknowledge you for taking the time to be here, because if a friend invited you and you're like, what is this all about? It takes courage in some cases to follow your friend's recommendation, but nonetheless, thank them for me, and I'm glad that you are here. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Jay, CEO of CashFlowDiary, and what we do is, well, very simple. We help you build cash flow. How do we do that? We focus on real estate and business, and specifically short-term rentals is kind of the way that we like to get it done. Having had the privilege of doing all kinds of real estate transactions all across the globe, when I look at the real estate market, and most importantly, what is opportunities for today's entrepreneurs, short-term rentals is very clear to me, like just very clear. We've got the proof of concept, we've got the financial backing, the understanding, the customer need, it's all there. The only thing that's missing, honestly, is you. And that's why we're here. Because at the end of the day, if we can help you do better, then the economy does better. With that being said, if you've been here before, do us a favor. Let us know where you're from. That's number one. Number two, tell us how many units you are currently operating, because that is part of today's topic, if you will. Because what it comes down to is that you did not get there being the same version of you that is here right now, if that makes sense. Said simply, you and I, we never out-earn our own personal growth. So I want to make sure, though, that we begin to acknowledge that as we talk about this thing today, which I think to be one of the most important. Awesome. So I see a number of people are here. Anthem, hey, sir, that's pretty funny. I was on your, I'm hoping you're still watching right now. Anyway, I was on your site, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 days ago, because I was researching some ways that I wanted to purchase some precious metals and whatnot. And I know that that's your world, sir. Yeah, I was definitely on your site. In fact, if you're still here, go ahead and drop a link for everybody else who might be thinking of something like that. That way they can find out more about you and where you are. And for those of you who don't know, Anthem, he's someone I met, wow, many years ago. And nonetheless, if you have an interest, anything around understanding, I'll call it sound economics and monetary policy, and specifically precious metals, you definitely want to go check him out. check him out. And if he's still there, he'll be able to go ahead and drop a link for us all. So yep. Awesome. For those of you who might have been here or might today might be the first time that you're here, what we are doing is we go live every day. Every day, meaning, well, every day. Every day in the month of August, to be very specific, at 9 a.m. And what we are doing is bringing you concepts, understanding, helping you create your own transition. I often like to say participating in your own rescue so that you can actually begin to live and do the things that you care about most. Not the things that someone else has planned for you, but the things that you care about the most. And today's number, 14. So as you can see there, type new in the chat so we can welcome you, because that would be wonderful as well. And Al is back. Hey, Al, how are you, sir? Glad that you are here today. What is going on, Ernesto? Hold on, Ernesto, how do you have 1.5 units? What is a half short-term rental? I don't even know. Is like half of it built? Is half of it outside? What are you talking about, man? It's pretty funny. And what's this, Jim? What is good cash? I've been called some very interesting things. Cash flow overlord. Never before. Probably the funniest, or at least the most interesting name that you guys out there have called me that I still find funny is someone called me Master Joda, as in the word master, but Jyoda, like Yoda, but they just put a J in front of it. And I don't know. I find that one funny because I don't know. There's just something about it. But yeah, Yoda and Baby Yoda is awesome too. Can't wait for, season 2 to get around here. Anyway, I digress, and we're talking about other things, which actually reminds me of what we started earlier in the week, but did not keep up on and finish. So I've got the cards out again. For those of you who don't know how that works, because it has been said to me before that I'm not exactly maybe I don't talk about me that much. And sometimes you guys want to know more of that type of stuff, but I don't necessarily volunteer it, which is fine. And this deck of cards is a bunch of random questions. So what happens is every time you type the word cash flow in the comments, I will pause and answer one of these questions. I have no idea what these questions are. And as you can hear, I'm shuffling them as well. So I've got the cards out. We are ready to go. We're going to be talking about today, like as I said, personal development. What does that mean? I mean, I think to each and every one of us, it can have completely different meanings. And specifically, I know for some of you, when I say the word personal development, the first thing that comes to your mind is probably just reading more books or something. Well, no, not. I mean, that's part of it, obviously, but it's not just about reading. In fact, when I say the word reading, some of you probably have a negative neuro association to the word reading, right? Because that feels kind of like school. Right? I don't know if I want to do that. I didn't like it the first time. Why am I going to like it now? And yet, at the same time, there's this, there can be cognitive dissonance around this concept simply because you don't want to do it, but at the same time, there are things that are eluding you in terms of either making the transition from employee to self-employed to business owner to investor, or there's something that's just eluding you, maybe even personally at home. And what you're trying to do is to figure out, like, how can I become better, right? Because isn't that kind of the choice? You can become better or bitter, and hopefully we're choosing better over bitter, right? And to be able to be enabled to do that is one of those things. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we talked about was, why is this work necessary, right? Why is it mandatory? And I'll say it this way, and we talked about it previously, and when we were talking about habits and things of that nature. One of those things that are absolutely necessary is that just understanding we do not rise to the level of our goals or expectations. We fall to the level of our systems. So in order to be able to, or be enabled to become more, one of the things that at least I've learned and suggest for anyone is to develop systems around the things that you wish to improve. So with that, what I want to do is I'm going to jet over here to the pad real fast, because I want to make when I say systems around things that you want to improve, here's very specifically what I mean. Anytime you want to, quote unquote, develop a system around something or improve something, here's a very basic system that I'm writing down for you to use, to take with you, to make your own in every way, shape, or form. Okay. I love the triangles, and some of you already know what I'm thinking. G, P, T. I'm literally, I can't tell you how many times this is the simple solution to whatever could be plaguing you, is goal, plan, track. Not even hard, but there are certain parts of it that are difficult for us to do. It's easy to do, which, as Jim Rohn would say, makes it also easy not to do. So it is simply developing that goal, having a plan to achieve that goal. This is where things can often fall apart. And if they don't fall apart there, they really fall apart under the tracking system. And I know you don't necessarily want to do these things, because at least that's me, but these are necessary components. I think for the majority of us, we all enjoy this goal and dreaming and thinking about what could be processed. That feels kind of good. It kind of feeds itself. But some of us, if you're like me, you tend to experience resistance right here. You want me to sit down and create a structure? Ugh, like that word, structure. Kind of just sends shivers, right? And yet, if you are to achieve, it needs to be a structure, and it needs to be a stable structure. So we're going to talk about one such stable structure as well. And then, how are you performing within this structure? Because that's a good question. See, being unwilling to track your progress to the things you say you want kind of tells you how bad or you do or don't want it, or if you actually do or don't want it. I can tell you from experience that at the beginning, you may think there are certain things that you want that at the same time, you may leave room to grow and become someone different, because you may not know what you want. Know what you want. And that's also very common, because again, we have a system in front of us that's offered to us, that is given to us, that we can choose to accept. And when we do choose to accept it, we sometimes get disconnected from the things that we want. But one of the ways to get back on track is understanding how are you, there we go, performing, right? Because if you are willing, and this is the key word, willing to be accountable in these ways, go back. There we go. If you're willing to be accountable in these ways, then you have a shot at being able to achieve whatever. You know how your mom or dad or some parent or some role model said you can be anything you want. Being anything you want is the same to me as saying, hey, I'm willing to submit my daily life and choices to a very simple system of goal, plan, and track. Period. Because when you do this, you have the potential, dare I say, to become something more than what you currently are. And there are some very simple but yet necessary systems, in my opinion, to being able to do that. And that's exactly what we're going to transition to here in a moment. But why do it? I don't know about you, but for me, one of the things that I desire is to be a better version of me. It's like I don't feel comfortable in complacency, so to speak. That doesn't mean there aren't times where I stop pushing, so to speak. But at the same time, I derive a lot of joy from helping other people become a bigger, better, badder version from themselves. Knowing that the company, CashFlowDiary, what we do here as a team has enabled some to take vacations for the first time, even though they have a business, has enabled others to go to foreign countries when international travel was still around, has enabled some to retire their spouses, has enabled many to just develop more agency around what they do with their time and who they do it with. That kind of feels good. And that's the world that I just always want to live in, is where we can enable others to experience those things, not because it is abnormal, not because it's something that is not commonplace, but it's actually by design, right? And that feels good. But that's, again, it's part of the goal plan tracking system, having a goal to do that and then planning how we're going to do it and then tracking, are we doing it in some way, shape or form? And if we're not, what is it that we're doing that's going to help people do the same? So I'm seeing a number of questions and comments, which actually reminds me to tell you, if you have a question or comment, feel free to go over to cashflowdiary.com/ask, that's ASK, because what we do there is, especially if you have a long or detailed one, put it there. And that's the way to guarantee that your question or comment or your question gets heard. And some of you are chosen to come live so that we can discuss those things. Now, speaking of live, tomorrow, Saturday, 9 a.m., you will be introduced to, again, more individuals that we've been working with, but most importantly, business owners, operators, individuals who are out there in the marketplace today making the things that we talk about, aka cash flow, happen. So definitely tune in tomorrow, 9 a.m. Now, let's get to some of the things that I see here in the chat. Let's see, what is this? Of course, Mary strikes first with the word cash flow. Let's see what we got. Oh boy. Okay, got it. So, well, all right, here's the question. Some of these questions, I tell you guys. It says, back in high school, what was the strangest thing someone could find in your locker? I would say the strangest thing that someone could find in my locker was an overwhelming amount of candy in bulk. I had more candy than I actually had books. I would carry my books on my back because my candy operated. That was more my warehouse and inventory. Because overseas, one of the things I could do is I could go on overseas. I could go on base and get candy at a very good price, and then bring that to school because I could get candy in bulk. So think like going to Costco before you went to school. I could go to Costco, pick up the candy, and then resell it individually during class. So yeah, the locker was more of a inventory than it was anything else. So it is what it is. All right, let's see what else we got. Of course, Wendy, I can't wait. Let's all right, one more time, and then we'll keep going. Let's see. Oh, I think everybody's done this. It says, have you ever accidentally texted the wrong person, and how did it turn out? Yeah, many times, more than once. But typically turns out okay because I have no problem texting the wrong person. It's not like I did or said something embarrassing in the process, but I think all of us have texted the wrong person at least once, if not more. All right, let's see. Ernesto, what's this? I operate one unit and I partnered with an experienced operator on another unit, which is actually 2 units. Okay, got it. So maybe I could say I operate one unit and 2 halves confusing enough. Yes, but I hear what you're saying. But Ernesto, here's the thing. I'm excited for you because I think the one that you operated, you just started operating that like in the last 30 days or so. So I like part of what I see from this is exactly what I'm talking about. All of us go through stages of incremental improvement, right? Sometimes we're just willing to go this far, and then we'll see how far that goes. And then we're willing to go, and then we go just a little bit further, and then a little bit further. And that's what I see is happening to you, which just leads me to believe that now that you're operating on your own, and you've done it the half unit, okay, we'll call it that. I see that continuing, that process continuing. In fact, I see it not only continuing, but speeding up, because now that you're like, oh, this isn't as scary or as bad as I thought. And now, it'll be like, hey, when can I get another one? How can I get another one? Maybe I want 10. And all of those things begin to come to play. So that's exactly that's exactly what I get encouraged about. So I like seeing those things. All right, let's keep going. Of course. So that's my daughter. All right, sure. I will do this because you're watching, and I know that's. Can you do any tricks with your tongue? Of course, I cannot. But she can. That was funny. Yeah, no, I got nothing special there. Sorry. Can't help you. It is what it is. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, and then she's going to send 2 little halos as if that somehow makes up for, it's all good. I guess in today's world, when you are dealing with the social media stuff, you still have to, she seriously typed it 3 times. Okay, darling, this is the last one, and then we're going to get back to business because okay. Would you ever consider writing to someone in jail as a pen pal? Would I ever consider writing to someone as a jail? No. Well, mostly because it says writing. Like, I don't write. That's actually the first thing I was thinking about. It's like, I don't write in that sense. Maybe email. Are they allowed to have email? Do they have email? I don't know how that works. So, yeah, I guess that answers that question. All right, moving on. Okay, I see you guys are really liking this cash flow thing. So we'll get back to that. Right now, what is this? The system is, yes, the goal, plan, target, yes, stable structure. Was Mr. K? Joe, I think it's JYODA from the person who did it. But yes, you're getting exactly what I'm saying. That is by far one of my favorite nicknames, J equals entrepreneur from the earliest age. Oh, right. Yes. I'm sure that there's more than one person who can relate to the, providing some necessary supply to their students or to the other people that they were going to school with. So, hey, what is this? Chilling at the beach with family and listening. Wow, that's commitment on a whole new level. Thank you very, very much. Let's see, what did she say? Oh, she actually was like, yeah, it's hereditary. So I actually can't either. Oh, well, there you go. Sorry, nothing special with my tongue. And then what is this? Thank you for, yes, Ernesto. Yeah, many people don't think that I'm like paying attention. I am paying attention, and I pay attention most to those who take action. That's just really what it comes down to. When, because sometimes we'll get a message from someone and I'm like, I'm sorry, I just don't remember you. And the reason, and what I've learned is the reason I don't, it's not because I'm intentionally it's not like they don't matter. It's just the people who stick in my brain are the ones who are showing progress. It's just, they naturally stick there. And you've been one of those individuals who, for a while, I was like, okay, is he going to do anything? And then just slowly, you've gone at your own pace, but that's still worthy achievement. Here's what I mean by that. And a long, long time ago, or at least in a galaxy far, far away, sorry, the whole Joda thing. One of the things that I was taught when I first got started was simply, again, goal, plan, track. And one of the things I was taught to ask myself is, hey, if the goal is truly worthwhile, then the speed with which you obtain it isn't that important. Here's what I mean. If I said to you today, and all of you, you can answer this. In fact, answer this. It'll be a simple yes or no. If I said to you, would $10,000 a month, and I'm making up numbers right now, but would $10,000 a month of passive income, meaning income that comes in without you physically having to work, in a 1-to-1 ratio for it, in terms of dollars per hour, if it took you, first of all, is that a worthwhile goal for you? It's a yes or no. Either it's worthwhile or it's not. And if it's not, then okay, does it need to be a larger number? You know? But let's just say that 10,000 is worth it. And if it is, great. If it's not, adjust. Would it be worth it? Yes, great, cool. And if that took you a year, would it be worth it? Yes. If it took you 2, would it be worth it? The answer is, for most people, still yes. What about 5 years? Then yes. Okay, so even if it took you 5 years to become the person necessary you needed to be to understand how to build, buy, own, or control assets so that you could produce, those assets would then produce for you, your family, $10,000 a month. If it took you 5 years, would it be worth it? Yes. What about 10 years? And worse, what if it took you 10 years and the first 9 were like nothing? Like literally nothing, but it takes all 10. It doesn't start till the 10th year. And the first 9, nothing. And you have to kind of think about that, right? I did. And fortunately, I decided that, yeah, it didn't matter when it would happen. I just would like it to happen. So what do I got to do? And one of those things is I had to learn to be patient with, well, me. That was one of those things. See, right after working on myself every day, what I had to develop was, like I said, a GPT, goal plan track, a plan for systems that would allow that to happen, make that happen intentionally. So what I want to do is that I want to describe as best I can one such system right now. And again, I know this is something that also Michael Hyatt has mentioned more than once. And and again, it's not necessarily a new concept as much as it is, do you do it? I mean, do you just do it? Like an apple a day keeps the doctor. I mean, you guys, you know this, but do you eat an apple a day? Now, I am not saying that the quality of the apples that we have right now are the same. So for those of you who are already thinking that, just move on. You get my point. All I'm trying to communicate at this moment is that there are many things that we know we should do, but do we actually do them? One of those things that has been critical, there's actually two kind of, that have been critical, have been the concept of the ideal. Okay, so I'm writing ideal week, W. That's number one. And then number two is been, in my case, a morning, and I'm going to put that morning in quotation marks for a reason, routine. Which is undergirded by just an understanding of what Anthony Robbins would call state changers. Okay. Being able to intentionally manipulate your own emotional state, I think, is a very key skill. And some of the ways that I have developed to do that is to create these two things, an ideal week and morning routine. Because with that, I can trick myself in some cases to perform more consistently. Okay. So if you're taking notes or if you're writing in the chat, make sure you write ideal week and morning routine and understanding the concept of state changers. But when I say ideal week, here's simply what I mean. A plan, pre-planned keywords. If you could write or create a template of how you would like your week to go every week, like in a general week, what would I like that to look like? How would I like that to flow on a normal Friday? What would that look like on a normal Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, XYZ? How would I like that to go? See, that's the first step of the goal, is asking yourself, how would I like that to go over here? That's number one. This is the goal. You're going to see this. How would I like that to go? For example, I'll give you the easiest place to make the changes and what that can make the biggest difference in the shortest amount of time. And it's easy because it's something we can all do and have very much control over, even though it takes discipline. It's simply the quantity of sleep. Let's just start with quantity before we even start talking about quality of sleep, right? How would I like that to go? So I'm literally asking you, if you could, and you can, but if you could, how many hours of sleep would you prefer to have consistently, right? That's just like step number one. How would you like that to go on every day of the week? Now, obviously, science has told us keeping that consistent, meaning going to bed at the same time, waking up the same time, all 7 days, not just 5, all 7 days. You live 7 days. You do not live to work, okay? You live. Your work, your occupation supports your life, not the other way around. My point is simple. How would you like that to go? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever written it out? And that's what I'm talking about. Literally taking a sheet of paper or iPad, what have you, drawing columns, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, drawing this out. What would I like? When would I like to go to bed? When would ideally I like to get up? Every day. I didn't ask you, well, can you do that right now? Well, but Jay, I have this job. I understand what you have right now. That's not what I'm talking about. How would you like it to go? Well, this is what I would like. Okay, good. Now start writing that every day of the week, right? And that then becomes the plan. This is the plan part. And then on one of those days of the week, whatever day you prefer, this is more of a Sunday thing for me than it is, and I know some of you, maybe it's a Monday thing or it's a Saturday. It doesn't really matter what day of the week, but one of those days, just one, you should reevaluate how the prior 7 went in regards to the ideal, the ideal week that you just set. What does that mean? If you're going to reevaluate, you should have a device of some kind to where you are actually tracking how did it go every day. This is also known as your schedule and or calendar, or however you keep that today, right? Which then becomes the tracking process. How did Monday go? Did you go to bed when you said you wanted to? Did that happen? Why or why not? As you begin to do that, you're going to learn things about yourself. Like for example, one of the things in my case that I've learned in this particular process, and it's going to sound very nerdy, but I don't care. I know for me, 6 hours and 24 minutes seems to be the perfect amount of sleep. That's just where it is. I've tried sleeping longer. I've done shorter, doesn't work. Not for long, but 6 hours, 24 minutes. That's just where it is. And because of technology, you can measure all this type of stuff. But this is what I'm talking about. You take simple things like that. The next easiest thing to influence is the quantity of water you are consuming. Again, didn't say quality, quantity. You can get to quality later. Let's just get something in this ideal week. And then what else is important to you? What are those things that you value? Put those big rocks, as they say. Put that on the schedule, my friend. That's what we're talking about right now. How do we get those big rocks on the schedule so that you begin to just live closer to your values? Please, someone type that in the chat. Then comes over to the morning routine. Now, before we get to the morning routine, I'm going to go back into the chat because I'm pretty sure that somebody typed that word cash flow at least once, because we're due for a little bit of a break in between. And for those of you who just got here and you're wondering what in the world is going on, my name is Jay, CEO of CashFlowDiary. We go live on, well, every day in the month of August, and we're doing so just to share the information that we know, that we've collected around business, around real estate, around helping you build cash flow, because that is the thing that can allow you to live closer, not only to your values, but most importantly, begin to make an influence, a change to how the world continually works. All right, so I'm trying to figure out where I dropped off. Okay, I see Dante here. Of course. And for those of you wondering, why do people keep typing the word cash flow in the chat? It's not just because they want more. It's because when you do, I have a deck of cards with a bunch of random questions that will allow you to, AKA ask me one of those weird random questions. So this one is kind of funny to me. All right, let's see. Did that work? There you go. If you had to pick a name for yourself, what would you pick? That's interesting. I find it interesting mostly because most people don't even know that my name is actually Jermaine. Because hey, I go by Jay mostly because it's been challenging for individuals to even get that far. But if I had to pick a name for myself, the question is do I go more difficult and make it like unique, or do I make it like Bob? Those are the things that are there. But I got to tell you, I don't have a problem with Jermaine. I don't have a problem with the way that it is. I think my mom did a good job. We'll go with that, because at least I can say that she liked Jermaine Jackson. And that's really kind of how that happened. And for those of you who don't know who that is, it's okay. It's totally okay. So, and what is this? Okay. Oh, so there is no email address. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad somebody knew. I have no idea. Your goal was to have 5 units by September. Okay. So 1, Dante, it's not September yet. So you've got 16 days. That's also code for me telling you it's not too late unless you've decided it's too late. Now, I get that it may be beyond your current perception of what you believe was possible for you. I understand that. But that doesn't mean that that is necessarily true. Now, is the probability lower? Maybe. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. As I said, you still have, I think there's only, is it 16 days or 17 days? I forget how many days are in August, but you get my point. There's still time, right? So work like it. It's fourth quarter. You're down by, you said you wanted 5. So you're down by 5. You're down by 4. 5 would take you to the win, right? So what you gonna do? Because, if coach comes and says, hey, you wanna play? What are you gonna do? You can get on court, right? Well, let's go do that. Let me see. 9 years. What is this? Uh-oh. Where'd it go? Oh, what does this say? 9 years of nothing is hard to do. Oh, bro. You are preaching to the choir, my friend. Yeah, decades of nothing is hard to deal with. And that's what many of us are dealing with is decades, not just 9 years, but decades of nothing. How do you keep believing, hoping, dreaming, wishing that something is going to happen when you're not seeing any sort of tangible evidence of it in front of you? And this is where we, as humans, just must learn to write this down. Love the process. Begin to enjoy failure events. It does not mean that you yourself are a failure, but it does mean that there is a process to it. And this is why this is important, specifically personal and professional growth, is understanding that you don't get there, quote unquote, overnight. Well, you kind of do. They just don't tell you how many nights it's over, right? And because of that, when you learn to measure and create these small incremental wins, like an ideal week, my friend, LaShawn, that's when you begin to see and you can document your own progress. In fact, here's something I submit to you for you to choose to use or not. Although I will tell you this, should you choose to use it, it will encourage you and actually speed up the process should you choose to do it. It's very simple. Every day, morning and evening, do the following things. It's the following thing. And we're going to get more into the morning routine here in a minute. But A, tell yourself, today I will be successful because, and come up with 3 things in the morning. In the evening, today I am successful because, and come up with 3 things. 3 things that made you feel successful. Now, here's the challenge with that. Sometimes it's our definition of success that gets in the way that prevents us from recognizing progress. Because if you say to yourself, today, I am successful, or I'm successful, or if you say to yourself, ever, I'm successful when I become, and I'm making it up again, a decamillionaire. The converse is, until I am a decamillionaire, I am not successful. And that is often the message we are sending ourselves. And my friend, LaShawn, what I'm saying to you is, I understand. And yet, I can't make it any more tolerable, but I can give you more skills and tips and techniques that can help you get there, to build something that is worthwhile. And learning to recognize process and the progress through that process on in attainment of that goal changes the world. Because now, instead of looking at the destination as progress, you can go, you know what? Today I remembered to hang out with my kids, and for that reason I am successful. Today I washed the dishes, I took out the trash, I brushed my teeth. Today I listened when I was really upset with someone. It doesn't matter, right? But by being willing to do something like that, you got a shot. And that's what I'm working to communicate here. All right. Because that is part of getting to the goal that you're after, even if it is 9 years. But that's also why the goal must be worth it. Because if it does take that long, can you look back and say, you know what? Yes, all of that happened and it was still worth it. And if you are not pursuing a goal like that, then the goal is too small. It's not even inspiring enough for you. Right? All right, let's keep going. What's this? It says, you are giving me goosebumps. Okay. The key concept is to become. Yes, totally agree. I met you in the Chicago area many years ago. Your absolute confidence in your teachings has kept me going. Thank you. I always remember things you said, such as, money is the least of my problems. Actually, yes, that is true. And let me get it. Let's be absolutely correct for those who may have heard this for the first time. What I more accurately say is, no one, and I mean no one, not even you watching right now, even though when I say this, your subconscious might scream, no one has a money problem. No one. You have an idea problem, but no one has a money problem. You have an idea problem. And what I simply mean by that is understanding the value of intellectual capital is kind of everything. Once you grasp that, then you are able to then promote and package and present your intellectual capital in different forms to then therefore solve your money problem. We here at CashFlowDiary, we've already proven, promoted, packaged intellectual capital. That's literally what we do. And it just so happens that what we do in the process of that is we prove it by doing it ourselves. It's not something we think might work. It's literally what we do. And when you say confidence, just we only practice what we only teach the things that we practice. That's where any sort of confidence comes from, if that's what you are perceiving. It's just like, it worked for me and these other thousands today when we confidently, collectively brought them through it. So there is no evidence in front of us that says it shouldn't work for you, right? It would be the same. I look at it as the same as if a mechanic, if you took your car to a mechanic and because it was broken, and then later you go and pick it up. If the mechanic or you are surprised that it works after they're done, then that's a problem, if that makes sense. Because it's like, oh my God, it's working. Yeah, I know. I didn't expect that. Like, and those are the things that are there. And I appreciate your perseverance, my friend, because that's part of what it takes. It doesn't happen. And what appears as happening fast for some people is just because they were on year number 9 already, right? When you see this, like if you're doing something and then you're like, I've been working at this forever. And then all of a sudden someone comes out of nowhere and suddenly, boom. Well, you didn't see what they were doing the previous 9 years, did you? You didn't have access to that. And that has a lot to do with it. And sometimes it could just be they were in the environment, because the environment matters, right? Being in a household that talks about these things can make all the difference. I'm chuckling because that my 2 of my younger daughters were, I put them in what was sold as an entrepreneur class for kids. And this week, and what they kept telling me, they kept saying 2 things. Dad, this is boring. And Dad, you already taught us this. I was like, I see. I'm sorry. Well, keep going. Maybe there's something there. Does that make sense? So, and maybe that's just the case for you, Ernesto. You're now in the environment. You haven't left the conversation. I can't even tell you how important that is. I can't. How many hours would you like to have? Yes. So when it comes down to sleep, at first I thought I needed more because that's what science says. Hey, here's the recommended number. And then being me, I started acquiring all the different wearables and all this other stuff that can track what my body is really saying. And then that's how I figured out it was 6 hours and 24 minutes was the number. So, yeah, it is what it is. My morning routine is going well. I skin brush. I don't know what that is, but that's interesting. I've never heard of that one. I take a cold shower. Whoa. Bless you if you can do that to brush teeth. I love it. I love it. Yoga or body strength workout. Yes, I rest as my body asks for to make sure the day is on track. Still, I work on the early sleep and wake up times, of course. I have the morning. Got it. Yes, you're understanding where things like this are coming from. This is good because routines matter. They really do. They can set you on the correct path. There's a reason athletes have a routine, because they're trying to repeat a performance or do their best version, right? Because it is what it is. So we all want more. Of course. I like it. Hold on. She wrote the word cash flow. I just now realized that. Okay, what is the longest you've ever waited in line for something, and what was it? I'm thinking it's The Matrix. Yeah, I'm thinking it's The Matrix when it came out. We went over to the big Newport, or maybe it was Matrix Revolutions. It was one of the Matrix movies. And this was back when you would plan hours in advance and someone would go in line and wait. Yeah, almost certain that was it. Let's see, September 13th to be, okay, got it. So you then shoot, if it's September 13th, you still got 30 days plus, bro. We got time. Let's go make it happen. You got all kinds of time. What is this? Let me tell you, I couldn't find a suitable unit near me, although I had a very clear whom I wanted to serve. One of your students encouraged me and my wife to jump in and rent a unit from a landlord who belongs to the same family, got it, where I met you, and understand and operate short-term rentals well. Although the location is a 1-hour drive, we've moved forward, furnished it, and started operating. It's been a lot of learning and growing, but it's working. Yes. Then the Save student invited us to partner up. Yeah, and that's my point. How you get started isn't as important as that you get started. And then once you're started, stay started. Okay, so I got to speed up. I just looked at the time. Sorry about that, guys. What do you mean by state changers? Got it. What I mean by state changers is, okay, right now, everyone is in a particular state. So I'm going to do something that is going to change your state literally as I am talking to you right now. So that simple thing that just changed right there changed your state. Understanding that things like music influence your state is important. And understanding something as simple as what type of music influence your state in a positive and or negative way is also important. In fact, one of the reasons we pay entertainers is because we're paying them for their expertise at manipulating our state, what we're feeling. We go to the movies, same reason, because we're literally paying them to manipulate our state. Theme parks, we do this all the time. And what I'm saying is learn to control that. One of the ways you can control that is just understanding that it exists, right? Same is true for each and every human. What are those things that can and do manipulate your state? They're different. There are obviously that some of them overlap, right? There's a reason. There's a reason that Michael Jackson, think about Michael Jackson and his music and him is multi-generational because he can change the state of 5-year-olds who have never met him still today. It's crazy. But that's why he's Michael, right? These things are there. Understanding what those things are for you so that at any time you become self-aware or recognize I'm in the wrong state to perform right now, you can now do something about it and get yourself back on track. Whew. Yeah, failure equals education, 1000%. It is the number one skill I think that we have become disconnected from. That's the word I'm after. Disconnected from. We've forgotten how to fail. And yes, it's an absolute skill. We've just forgotten how to do it, right? I always say, get ready to write this down, fail fast, fail forward, fail frequently. We don't do those 3 things. And that's why it takes us a long time to learn some stuff. Love the process. Yes, absolutely. There's no escaping it. What is this? Success is not built on success. It is built on failure. 100%. It is built on frustration. I got lots of that. Sometimes built on catastrophe. I can eat. Yes. But that becomes the question. Are you doing things to intentionally fail? And if so, great, right? Because understanding, avoiding failure doesn't mean you're getting ahead. Pushing yourself to rise, I think I said this yesterday, rising to the level of your own incompetence, right? That's what you got to do, whether you like it or not. Now, if some of this information, you'll be like, ooh, maybe this is good and resonating with you. You want to make sure that you don't miss the rest of it as we go live tomorrow and further at 9 a.m. What you want to do is you want to get over to cashflowdiary.com/live, LIVE, because we're going to still be going live the rest of the month. All right, so let's see what we got. I want to be a Deca millionaire before age 40. Okay, got it. So now that's the goal, let's plan and then track. But let me ask this question. If that happened when you are 42, would it still be worthwhile? Yes or no? 43, 45, 50. At what number does it become, I don't want it anymore? And that's when you know you've latched onto a goal that actually is good for you. Okay? Yeah. So, what's that? Money is not the problem. Oh, yes, the idea problem. You are a genius. Thank you for the kind words. I would just say that I've made a lot of mistakes. No one has a money problem. Correct. Idea problems. And then, thank you. Skin brushing helps move your lymphatic system as it doesn't have its own heart to say. Interesting. I'm going to learn more about what this is because I'm curious to do it. And what is, yes, meditation. That is another state changer. You need to know what I have like some go-to state changers, right? Because otherwise, you got to have these things because you're not going to be in the best mood all the time or perfect and all of this type of stuff. So, and yes, Dante, I'm glad. Cool. Then you have the right kind of goal. Because if it wasn't going to be worth it later, then no, you need to adjust the goal. But that's the thing. I don't know how long it's going to take any of us to get to the things that you want to do. But you have to ask yourself, if it takes longer than I hope or want or think, is it still worth it? It's a simple yes or no. And if it is, great. And if it isn't, well, consider. That's all I'm saying. Now, the other part that, whoops. Oh, what happened? The other part is the morning routine. And I'm going to go through this really quickly because I didn't mean to go this long today. Sorry. Okay. So where are we at? Here we go. When it comes to the morning routine, for me, it's not so much about the activities, although they are pre-planned. It's about making sure they hit all of the categories. What does that mean? I focus on 1, 2, something, 3, 4, something that is physical, something that is mental, emotional, and the spiritual. Oh, and then there's one more. Sorry. Financial. Got it. So for example, a physical activity could simply be walking. Like before we moved to this particular house that we're in, many people all the time would say, I see you walking all the time. I'm like, yep, you do. Like, where are you going? Oh, I'm just going to, I tell them I'm going to work. Where do you work? I didn't tell them Starbucks because I'm going to work at Starbucks, which anyway, it's just a fun inside joke for me. Now during this COVID time and whatnot, it's been all about the Peloton and on the bike all the time because it's got to be there. Right? Mental. This is clear. This is the reading that often is done. Emotional. It's either my psychologist or psychiatrist, depending. And for those of you like, wait, what did he say? Psychiatrist. I am autistic plus ADHD, and psychology is just good for everybody. Spiritual. This is where Bible, prayer, things of that nature come into play. And then obviously financial. There's a book out there called Profit First by Michael Michalowicz. Just understanding this over and over again. Plus there is a financial team that we have to make sure that I can continue to go in the correct directions. There are activities in each of those categories that become critical components. But just like an athlete, right? And this is where it's really important for you to grasp. In the same way that an Olympic athlete has a routine before they work out and before they take to the starting line and before they get into the starting blocks or before tip off, they have a routine because that routine puts them in a particular state, a state to go do what it is that they do. It's no less true for you as a business owner. Unless you're just hoping you're going to randomly be in the mood every day. By not having it, that's what you're doing. You're subjecting your business to your random emotions. And I don't know about you, but your boy's got lots of random emotions. Okay? One of the gifts of ADHD is the privilege of being able to go from 0 to 100 in the wrong direction faster than you can honestly blink. And learning to control that or just recognize that is really challenging when your wiring is not such that. But knowing that helps me. It also helps others who know me. But this is my point. Having a routine can put me in the right state so that I'm ready to play. Because when you're playing a sport, any sport, you know not every play is going to go your way. You know that you have to play offense as well as defense. You know that there are times where you need to call a timeout so that you can regroup, put things back together, and then formulate a new plan to adjust to what is happening. These are all things that happen in business, but yet we act like it's shocking. Oh my God, now what? That play was supposed to work. Yeah, well, I guess that play doesn't work for me. I'm never doing that play again. That's often the choice that we make. Not, well, how would you try to play again? Maybe you didn't run it perfectly because, I don't know, you forgot to get a bookkeeper. That's why your business fell apart. There are many times that you have to keep practicing this. I wish most entrepreneurs got the privilege that doctors and lawyers get. Why? Because they literally call their business a practice. They're practicing. Why can't we practice business? I'm practicing entrepreneurship. This is my first company, my second, my third. Why is that bad to say? Anyway, details. I digress. My point today has hopefully been made and simple, is being able to share with you some of the tools and resources that I use. Some of the reasons why daily work on things like this is important, because you're human and there's no other way to make it happen that I am aware of. And then why all of us must continue to work on ourselves daily. It's just what must happen. And I'm hoping that it's been helpful. But like I said, don't forget, come back tomorrow as well. So what I'm going to do is go through the comments one more time, see if there's anything else that's there. You just finished that book, Sunshine. I'm not sure what book you're referring to. Unless it's Miracle Morning, maybe that's the book, because that is the book. I've mentioned many books, so I don't know which book you're referring to, but maybe it's Miracle Morning. It could be Profit First. Either way it goes, I'm excited that you finished a book. And books have been key. I've minimum of 2 books a month since like 2003. It's a lot of books. And that's just one of those goal plan track things that tend to make the difference. So it's a part of it for all of us. There's no escaping it. And that's actually a good thing, because could you imagine if it really was easy and everyone did it? That would be interesting. Oh, but it does require consistency. See, all of these things in and of themselves, you may have done part of them, pieces of them. Maybe you thought about an ideal week one day, or what was it, having a morning routine. But now I'm saying do it as if you're planning for a season at which there is a Super Bowl or championship at the end. And understand that there is no difference between the two. An athlete's business is their body and its performance. For you, the entrepreneur, your business depends on your ability to perform, not just physically, although that's a major component, thus the sleep and the water, but also mentally, and also emotionally, and also spiritual, and all of these other things also matter. And that's not to say that athletes don't have that same thing. But because their lifestyle is built around routine, there are some of those things that are happening naturally. We don't get to not have a routine because you don't bounce a ball or run for yards, or I don't even know what to call it with tennis. This is what I was thinking. I'm like, whatever they do, I don't know, or row, whatever it is, there's a routine and there's a reason that those activities exist. And all I'm saying is that for you to become the entrepreneur that's inside, that I believe is inside, you're gonna have to develop that same type of routine. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as I have said before, I say again, this is definitely fun for me. I enjoy it. And I appreciate each of you who take the time to show up and to be here. And hopefully you enjoy it too. In fact, I'm hoping you enjoy it so much that one of the things that you're doing is you're talking to a friend and that you are sharing this information with other individuals so that they too can participate. By all means, just hit the share button, tag them. For those of you on YouTube, subscribe and hit that bell. That bell is what we need that bell and the like button is what we need on YouTube because, man, that's just one of those places where I know other entrepreneurs are hanging out and they want to be able to find information that can help them. And if this has helped you, that's the simple way you can support. That's the simple way you can know that you've done a good thing today, is that you introduce someone to something that helped you. Nonetheless, I'm looking forward to talking to you guys again soon. And as always, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your focus and all the good and jobs all the good you're doing and the jobs that you're creating. It's been fun talking to you guys today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.